the suffix en, n, okay? So let's think about words in English like broaden, fasten, sharpen, and then words like wooden and spoken, taken. I think I have it, yeah, taken here. Well, it's a little bit of a confusion, because if we're talking about a suffix, usually keep in mind you know what kind of word you're going to get and what kind of result you are going to give. What do I mean by that? Think about the suffix less, okay? No, sorry, better. The suffix ness. It's a better example. So you have sad, sadness, happy, happiness, you know, and careless, carelessness, right? It has a very set and fixed grammar. That is, you should get an adjective, and by adding ness, you transform that word into a noun. Sorry. Well, if you want more information about that, just look up for the word suffix intro. Okay, it's in the grammar part. Whenever you can't find any of my videos, just Google Thiago Kondajewski, suffix intro. Google will help you there. I know I should organize it, but I will. In the future, I will organize my channel. Okay, but that's not the point. The point is, think about all of the words I've given you. It would be very hard to think about what kind of word you get and what kind of word you know, what kind of word you get and from what kind of word, you know? Because actually, first we have three big divisions in the suffix en, okay? The first one, we are talking about making verbs. I want you to realize that I'm talking about the result. I'm not still talking about what kind of word I get to get the verb, right? So this is the first en we have, right? And then we have words like strengthen, harden, deepen, broaden, and etc. I'll go back to that in one moment, because there will be subcategories in this first en, okay? All right. Second en. The second en, you have to form adjectives, okay? The result is an adjective, and then you have golden, for example. You have wooden, woolen, right? And etc. Third one is the one I would like to start by diving into. That is the end of many third form verbs, past participle of many verbs in English, all right? So, for example, you have break, broke, broken. Take, take, taken, right? Well, what else do I have here? Get, got, gotten, right? Give, gave, given, write, wrote, written, and you could find more endings like that. Well, for this third one, I want you to know that there is nothing we can do about it. You know, those words were formed a long time ago, and there is no recognizable logic nowadays. We cannot make new verbs or anything. So we won't even consider it a suffix, at least not in a very distinguishable suffix, right? So it's just an etymological curiosity, right? There are many verbs in English which has the third form, the past participle, in en. Okay, now let's go backwards. Let's go to the second case, right? En being used to form adjective. It's important for you to know that this second en is completely different from the third. You already know that, and from the first, right? The first. Okay, this one has a very specific function. It transforms a noun into an adjective. And when I say it transforms, actually I want to say it used to transform, you know? We don't make new words now in English using this technique, okay? the words produced in this way were most common in Old English and Middle English, so that's why we have very old words in English, which are adjectives, okay, like wooden. This is what we're talking about, that come a long way in the language. And that's why we have many words that have disappeared in the language, that were adjectives. I think I had some examples here. I use, among other sources, Etymonline, right? If I forget to post the link there, or if you can't find it, please ask me. So Etymonline gives examples like, let me see if I can find them. Okay, like, let me see, bienen. Bienen would be something made of beans, bacon, bacon, not bacon like, but from bake, it's something made of something baked, there would be breaden, all of those words sound very old, and many of them have disappeared. But we still have some words surviving. Mainly, of course, you are pretty familiar with golden and wooden, all right? But we could have more. Woolen, earthen, made of earth, oaken, made of oak. Why are those adjectives dying out? When I say why are they dying out, they're not going to die out, like, oh, I better use them now because in 2 or 3 years they're going to die out. They're dying out. I'm talking about hundreds of years, because English has developed another strategy for that, Think about it. We can say wooden table, we can say wood table, we can say golden watch, we can say gold watch, So because we have this new technique of, describing something made of, that is basically you get a noun put before another noun, and that will be the quality of the first noun. Let me give you a better example. English, no, let me see. Pocket is not an adjective, correct? Pocket is a noun, right? And if I want to qualify another thing, let's say book, I just put a noun, pocket, before the other noun, book, and that first noun will act as an adjective, okay? Because of that, those words meaning adjectives, formed from nouns to qualify something, and the meaning would be made of, they are kind of rare in the language, okay? So in this group, again, we have oaken, made of oak. Oak tree is a kind of tree, right? Wooden, earthen, golden, woolen. Those are the examples I took notes here. Okay, and then we go to our first en, all right? I think this is the most productive, even though you can't just get any word and make a new word by using en, but, under certain circumstances, it's possible, all right? So we know for sure that here we are in the realm of verbs. And basically, we have the first category inside this number one en. That is, you get an adjective, and you use en, and you make something like causing to be or becoming. What do I mean? What is sharpen? I have a pencil here, right? This pencil here is pretty sharp, but let's imagine it wasn't pretty sharp. I'm going to use this thing here, that, by the way, is not called sharper, right? It's called sharpener. Why? Because now I'm going to make this thing here sharp. So I'm going to sharpen my pencil, and this is a sharpener, right? Broaden a street. A street is pretty narrow, you have problems with traffic, you can broaden the street, right? Weaken, right? If you weaken a person, you make the person weak. So see, you have the same idea of getting an adjective and making the verb out of the adjective. Now, that doesn't work. Oh, by the way, the other examples I have here, deepen, you know, you have a hole, but you can deepen the hole. Redden, that is make or become red, right? Lose, you know, not lose, but lose, that is not very fixed, you know. Imagine this is like, this is a pole on the ground, and let's imagine the pole is like this, so it's loose. You can loosen something, make something loose. Weaken, as I said, broaden, sharpen, darken, and fasten. I'll record a video about that in the future, but fast can also mean fixed, okay? So when you fasten, that is fasten, right? But usually pronounced fasten. When you fasten your seatbelt, you make your seatbelt fixed. That's the idea there. Okay. Now, if we get all of those, adjective and verb, right? And we get another word like strengthen, we'll see that it doesn't work. Even though the result is the same, we do get verbs in the end, but we didn't get an adjective. Strength is not the adjective, right? Strong is the adjective. If we were using en as in the first subdivision of this n number 1, then it would be strongen, but we don't say strongen, because in this subdivision, the idea is to cause to have, okay? And if it is to cause to have, you can get the idea that you are not going to use adjectives here, you're going to use nouns, because you're going to have the verb here. It's to cause to have this noun, all right? What do I mean by that? Strength is the noun, is something you may have. Strengthen is to cause to have strength, all right? And then we have hearten, basically, literally speaking, to make somebody have a heart, you know? And lengthen, okay? The adjective is long, we don't say longen, we say length. Lengthen, that is to cause to have, you know, bigger length or any kind of length, okay? Keep in mind that this suffix was pretty active in Middle and Early Modern English. That's why we kind of feel we can make new words, you know? Sometimes those words are made just because of a very specific necessity, right? I don't know, I could even think about yellowen, you know? Of course, we would have to pay attention to sound, pinken, and things like that, but you know, because it's more recent in the language, we feel we can do that, mainly using adjectives.